Welcome back, everybody. Here we are for the final game of the evening. The last elimination match, Group B, is moments away from starting. We're still live from Burbank in California, and joining me on the couch for this little segment, I have my good friends In Control, Artosis, and Nathanius. Welcome to the couch for the final time today. We have one more game to go, Artosis.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Of course, that last series
sure?
kind of crazy. I'm not sure. I don't actually ever know, but I like StarCraft so much that even bad games are sometimes good. So,
Cut to break.
I will see you
Don't
guys
need
in
to
a
say
minute.
anything else.
Yeah, it's been an awesome day. I'm satisfied. The American guy won, so looking forward to seeing him play again. And
Yeah.
I think this next series should be interesting, just because we expect weird stuff out of True. So pretty
Well,
straightforward.
Quite simply, one of these is going to be eliminated, but that's our job to find out which one. Sounding intelligent again here. Trying my best for you, In Control.
Appreciate it. You're doing a good job. You're doing a great job, Sean.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you. Patience, though, I mean, you talked about him as a potential top 4 contender
Yeah.
in this tournament.
Yeah.
He's currently facing elimination. Are you going to defend him one more time here, going up against True? Is this an easy victory?
Well, I don't think it's easy. I think that True is like a really hard player to play against. As we saw, he took a game right off of Zest. And in fact, that third game, if Zest wasn't really fast making that wall, could have lost that easily as well. So, you know, there's always a chance that True can take down anyone with his kind of outrageous style. But I think overall, Patience is just such a solid player. He's going to have very good build orders, and he's going to stick to them and check for craziness. And, you know, I think he'll pull it out.
What are your thoughts on True here, maybe specifically?
I think on paper, there's a chance for this to be a bit of a mismatch. Patience is a very solid Protoss, I would say. I don't think anyone looks at him and says he is the absolute best micro ever, although his micro is quite good. I don't think anyone says his macro is super phenomenal, but he just executes very cleanly. We only did get to see the PvP, but even in the PvP, his wall-ins were fairly immaculate. His execution was really on point. And True comes at me as a little bit more of like a chaotic player, just kind of all over the place and trying to really get you off your game. We saw with Zest a little bit of that kind of solidness that makes him very good too. I don't even know if solidness is a word, but we're going to roll with it, or at least I am for now. And it was just too much. It didn't end up being that good of a series, other than the one all-in that really crushed him. So I'm kind of worried. I'm a little bit worried.
What do you think the difference is for this Protoss versus Zerg compared to the last one, where we saw True versus Zest and now True versus Patience?
You know, Zest is like a little bit more of a complete package, so you just kind of expect him to eke out victories a little bit more often. But I have to agree with Jeff. You know, I think the soliditude, I think is the word you were looking for, of Patience's play should be enough to like...
Or solidity.
Yeah. You know, I'm not sure exactly what they'll do with the maps, but he got to see some of True's plans. So, for instance, if there's Dasan Station, he can go ahead and just kind of auto-counter and be like, okay, there's definitely the possibility you go for a Queen Ling drop. I'm going to make sure I'm ready for something like that. So, you know, having seen those games against Zest and just looking at his style, like, he should be safe. But, I mean, True has more up his sleeves than what we've seen so far.
More lings, probably.
A lot more Lings.
Yeah.
Maybe
Probably.
3 hatchling, 4 hatchling. I don't know.
Proxy hatchling.
Proxy hatchling. Wow.
What are your thoughts here, Nathanius, on this
That's-
series?
This guy's back and forth is exactly why I think watching True is such an interesting thing, because everybody knows he's going to be a little bit more off the cuff in terms of his builds. Like, it's going to be more aggressive stuff. You know, watching him play against Terrans in Montreal was something like everybody knew he was going to just mass lings and do these big aggressive plays, which is what we're seeing here.
Right.
But if you take certain, you know, precautions against that, like, he's played against enough people that would probably try to blind counter him, or, you know, just deal with just lings, that, you know, whatever his follow-up is going to be equally scary. So it's like you can't dismiss it. But I also think a big risk, and something we have to look out for, is whether he over-prepares for that sort of aggressive play.
So can he use that as an advantage, like kind of a mind game coming into this series against Patience and try to look for that overall?
Absolutely. Like, if
leads.
you play Turtley against True, he'll
Yeah.
kill you. Like, you can't just play Turtley.
Yeah.
You have to have some very sharp attacks in there as well, because, like, as we saw on game 1, True will throw down a Spire.
Yeah.
And if you're just sitting there defending and he gets into mutas, it's not going to look pretty for you. So we're going to have to see Patience, you know, not just stay inside his base, but that's where True gets to really mix it up.
And I do want to say, and I love this ticker function that we have right now with our production, but it's 14-7 in maps in favor of Patience, 5-0 in series. So to me, in Legacy of the Void, by the way, we're not reaching that far back, which is also really important, because if that was Heart of the Storm, who cares? To me, that kind of typifies why I think this is a tough matchup. So for me, it's True that needs to come in and show something different. And the reason, again, that I'm worried is because in that series against Zest, that wasn't different. That's exactly what you would expect from True. And if he's thinking that's going to beat these top-notch players, I just don't see it happening. I don't.
There you hear it. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. We are ready now to start the last game of the evening, the last elimination match. One of these players from Group B is going to have to say goodbye to the Global Finals. Take a quick break, and then we'll jump into the game.
The reviews are in, and the critics agree. Overwatch is a perfect 10.
Psst, what are you looking at?
It's time to pick a side.
Overwatch. Play it now on PC and console. Rated T for teen.
The StarCraft 2 WCS Global Finals is sponsored in part by Intel, T-Mobile, NVIDIA, and Republic of Gamers.
Alrighty, here we go for our last series of the day. Thought our very first day, already saw a couple of amazing games, and we're gonna do one more PvZ.
Yeah, we've had a lot of these actually today, and definitely got a good glimpse into what the meta is like right now. Banelings all over the place, a unit that once upon a time would not even have been considered, it would have been considered foolish, I guess, to make a Baneling against Protoss. Now kind of reigns supreme. I guess technically Protoss just won, but these victories were all hard fought, so it's a tricky matchup right now. Yeah, I guess we can leave it at that and try and see if Patience here has some answers against True.
We have just lost our first player in Snoot, and we are going to say goodbye to one more player here on the very first day of WCS Global Playoffs, as we are loading into Frozen Temple for the first map. Looking at the main base of our Zerg player representing Psystorm Gaming, it is True.
And his opponent playing as the blue Protoss, it's of course Patience, who has a great winning record against True. He's 5-0, he's never lost to True, so not bad, I guess, going into a match like this, knowing that you're one of the nemesis of your opponents. What do you, like, from the first two series that we saw out of these two guys, what did you think? Who looked more impressive? Would you say Patience, clearly?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that Patience is more solid overall. I mean, Patience had a rough series, of course, against Neeb, but Neeb is just a god in PvP. I can't wait to talk more about that and see more PvPs of Neeb and see if he's even going to lose a couple of them this weekend. True, on the other hand, I mean, Jeff called him kind of a gimmicky Zerg, and he really lived up to that name. It was nothing but gimmicky builds, all three games. You know, it did work on Dasan Station, but that's Dasan Station. I really don't even expect to see that map. Patience on the other end, I think in this matchup he is very solid. Couldn't agree more with Arthrosis in that regard. I think it's very important for Patience that he keeps the scouting up. Now, scouting is obviously always important in StarCraft, but especially when you go up against a player like True, who you just know loves to be aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised to see something very wild, like the March of the Queens on this map. Like, if we're going to see it on any map, Frozen Temple could very well be the map, but True is going to have to switch it up, because I don't think that Patience is going to fall for any gimmicks.
March of the Queens. That sounds like a movie sequel.
And I would
title,
watch it,
like Warcraft, after we had the beginning, March of the Queens. Like, True's like the main character.
And Zest will be the superstar on the Protoss side. He'll be that warped in salad, shirt half ripped.
Wouldn't be a blockbuster without it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we got speed on the way here, and he stopped mining gas, so it doesn't look like he's going to be like super aggressive with any kind of drops or anything like that. And on the other side, I like this a lot. Like you mentioned, scouting being important. When you open Stargates, you're going to be able to see pretty much everything the opponent's doing. So it's kind of like scouting through aggression, but in the case of a Stargate, it's even like a safer aggression.
Yep, and this is a super fast Stargate. It's Stargate before a Warp Gate, which may not seem like a big deal, you know, that's only 50 gas, but in the beginning stages of the game, it actually is kind of a big deal. It's going to give Patience super nice and early access. Yeah, I think it's alright for now, because he's most likely going to open up with an Oracle. If he opened up with Phoenix here, I'd be super surprised, but Oracles are also very good in defending any sort of Ling aggression. That was kind of a weird shade. It was not only a super short shade, but it was also very obvious.
And this target was spotted across the map. A little bit surprised that True doesn't hang in there to see what unit it is out of it, but he probably expect it's going to be an Oracle. And I mean, the answer is the same. You have to get Spores. So definitely going to want to look to try and add that very soon.
I think I'm expecting a double Oracle opening over here, right? I think one Oracle is very nice in defending any sort of aggression and get some scouting done. And obviously, if there is an exposed mineral line, you're going to get some work. But the double Oracle is truly where magic starts happening.
Sounds like a safe prediction when you're not casting Has.
Yeah, I mean, that would have predicted 7 Oracles, and I would probably be right.
No, you'd be wrong, because it's 35. It never stops, man. That was crazy, actually, those games that we saw from Has last time, where he was just like massing Oracle throughout like a super long game.
I mean, so far, Patience is already 7 workers ahead. He forced out quite a few units. These two Lings are a little bit of trouble. The Oracle is going to try to save the Lings,
and there's no Spores.
Nope.
Those were delayed. I think you wanted to get Queens instead to try and defend. So maybe what you predicted, the March of the Queens, in the plans for the future, what do you think?
I mean, it's possible. We keep close eye on the production tab. I kind of think if you wanted to do something like that, we have to see 3 Queens non-stop being produced, and that's not really the case. We see 7 additional drones being morphed in right now.
He didn't have the minerals, I think. Like, I was wondering when True was gonna start mining gas again, because obviously, like, you're gonna need Pneumatized Carapace. Like, you're not gonna fly slow overlords across the map. You might as well be walking out with Queens if you were to do that. So now he had the second gas, starts mining from the original one. So if when he reaches 100 gas, he starts Pneumatized Carapace. Yeah, he starts Lings.
Kind of a strange
and another
build.
base.
I kind of feel like this is a little bit odd by what Patience is showing us. I do like this by True going up to 4 bases very quickly, 4 minutes 40 seconds. But like this is scary, but without the Resonating Glaives and the amount of Lings that True already has, I really don't think he has to be too worried about this. So Patience is going to be forced back for now. Dark Shrine being wiped in. I think that's smart, because the layer is going to be incredibly late. I'm not sure if Patience truly knows about that, but he may have a feel for it. He may knows how True likes to play. So at least that Patience is going to be safe, right? I mean, he's not going to die as long as he can wipe in the Dark Templars defensively.
You know what's crazy? True is really trying to skip Spores here. He made one on the 3rd base, but there isn't any in the natural or main. So if some DTs were to walk in there, he could kill a lot of drones. And we've seen on this map how effective this can be. And I'm getting a little bit worried here for True with those starts, because I really feel like Patience pulling ahead, and then from there, Patience is always the guy that's going to be super decisive. He's never going to sit back and let you come back. He's always going to attack with more and finish you off.
Gotta give it to True though. He's done a very good job in recovering economically. He's at 69 drones, still a few more drones on the way, +1 melee is on the way. He's taking a few of those additional extractors now. I feel like he's got a pretty decent setup for now. This is a lot of adapts, and there is no Roach Warren, and the Bailing Nest is quite late. Now Queens are good. We see 26 Zerglings on the way, but if these adapts can find a good position, maybe behind the mineral line or in between the mineral line, and avoid the Queens, he's gonna let it finish up. That's kind of risky, because the Queens are nearby, but the Oracle is here as well to support out these adepts.
Maybe he's gonna set up a trap or try and shed out of there. He's actually good. Oh, he's going towards the natural here. It doesn't feel like this can be a win ever for Patience, because Lings, actually Lings are a little bit out of position. So he's gonna get behind those minerals and try and snipe a couple drones. He gets 3, but all of these adepts are gonna die here for this.
Yeah, this seems like a kind of a weird attack. A few more adepts coming in. He's gonna send these adepts. Well, there's a lot of minerals indeed saved up for True, 1,200 minerals. But Patience is throwing away a lot of unit stud, and he's really not getting that much done. These adepts are gonna get picked off as well. And I'm starting to really like the position of True, and I'm loving his defense so far.
Yeah,
he did not struggle with that at all.
His macro was weird though. He didn't spend his minerals for a very long time. Spacked as at over 1,000 minerals there, but now the DTs...
They're on a mission, though. It's 4 Dark Templars. If these Dark Templars jump on top of that hatchery and they're able to kill it, I don't think there's a single Overseer on the map of True. He has a couple of swords. Nope, not a single Overseer. So if the Dark Templars get the 4th base, that makes everything a little bit better for Patience. And he needs something like that because he really didn't get much done at all with the Adepts.
All Zerg seems to be loving their Spire here, and you know, we talked about this, how if you can force Blink Stalkers and a lot of Stalkers, you're going to be able to do well, but DTs are going to slice up that base, and he's even going to be able to pick them up, even if there were Overseers there. He could have saved those DTs as they finish off this very important 4th base, and Protoss now starts an earlier 4th base than the Zerg player, so Patience definitely achieved something big here.
Yep, that was a risky move, but he did indeed have the Prism, so he kind of had a get out of jail free card. Good move, very, very good move there by Patience. Like you said, going up to 4 base on the other side, also pushing back that creep, very risky. We saw what could happen in the earlier series today when Drogo decided to do it. We see now an Archon drop, the Spire has been planted once again. It's 12 Mutalisks, by the way, that's a few more than we've seen in some of these other games. If these Mutas jump on top of the Prism, wow, it's double Prism, by the way, how cool is that?
Yeah, late World Run, by the way, is being added on now. But yeah, Lynx gonna get a full surround here on these Archons. Can he save them? Yes, at the last second, but Mutas are about to come out. Patience is gonna hit the other 4th base that was retaken elsewhere, though, at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, this is nice for Patience. He's going to be able to deny this hatchery. He still has the Warp Prism on the other side of the map. It will get picked off. Now he also knows he's going up against quite a few Mutalisks. This is obviously a good fight for our Protoss player, as he has a lot of Adepts, has a couple of Archons in the mix as well. Now, the last thing you want to do with Mutalisk is just defend. You want to do something on the other side of the map. I must say, I'm surprised that there is so many Adepts thought. He really doesn't have that much NTR, and there's quite a few Mutalisk over here.
Yeah, if he kills everything on the ground, I guess he'll be fine. But right now, there's no Banelings just yet for True, who starts fighting early against some of these Adepts, while elsewhere on the 3rd base, they're just laning drones left and right. He loses 13 in total, so it's a good trade for Patience, who again has a 4th base earlier than his opponent. He's going to be on 8 gases and cranking out an infinite amount of Archons once again.
Yeah, Protoss still 20 workers ahead. That's obviously massive in this phase in the game. More Warp Prism arrest. True probably wondering, didn't I take care of that Prism? Well, this was the 2nd Prism. These Zealots are going to keep True on his side of the map, and that's obviously what Patience wants. Patience has been throwing away a lot of units, but he has done that at the cost of killing a lot of drones. So the last thing that True wants to do with his Mutalisk stack is just sit back on his side of the map, while the Stalker and Archon number on the other side is growing for Patience.
Yeah, keep in mind there is no charge. It was just resonating glaze into Blink, so I don't know if he's looking to try and add that here, Patience, but I guess for now he's just content with massing these Archons to make sure he's got enough to fight that army. Oracle's gonna get chased away here.
I feel like True really needs to do some damage in the immediate future, though. Otherwise, his army is just going to be not that strong anymore. The Roach Warren did finish up, and he's even starting +1 missile attacks. Still has no Spore Crawler here. There are Overseers, but kind of out of position.
Double Hydralisk Den, so looking to get a Lurker Den and I guess Groove Spines at the same time?
Yeah, Muscle
Augments, yeah.
I mean, he might do that unless it was a mistake, but it could be on purpose as well.
But I like this, because if you think about the army that Patience is getting right now of mass Archons, if you can reach 10 Lurkers, you're going to be in very good shape. It's very hard for Archons to walk in there and fight them unless there is a lot of Immortals behind, which, as we can see, there isn't any, because he thinks he's facing Lingbane, against which Immortals are terrible.
No time to waste on the side of Patience. Once again, I love the army mobility and I love the activity overall from Patience. There's always something happening. He's going to spot a couple of these Roaches morphing into Ravagers. They ain't done yet though, so these Archons getting nice and close, getting a couple of Ravagers immediately. Wow, getting big shots. 4 out of 6 Ravagers get picked up before they're done. And I'm not sure if True is going to have enough time to get those Hydras out, to get those Lurkers out that he was looking for.
Yeah, it's really risky to be out on the map like this, though. If this army gets defended, True will be in a great position. I just don't know if he has enough. He moves in there with Banelings, and they do almost nothing here. So many Archons are left over. True's trying to stay alive here, but it looks like Patient might just have enough here, now towering him in supply.
Wow. +2 Archons against Zerglings and Mutalisks, and the Ravagers got picked up before the fight even started. He finds the Lurker Den as well, and at the same time, Patience is even taking a 5th base where True was trying to expand before.
Banner expanding in front of True's base, and just like that, GG Patience with a very solid, constant aggression gets a win here in map number 1 of Frozen Temple.
Yeah, makes it look easy in the end, while I really felt that his start wasn't going all that well. He did force out a lot of units at first, and I felt that True did a very good job in defending the first and second wave of Adepts. He really didn't take that much damage. Then he did a good job in, or almost even amazing job in, recovering economically. But the biggest problem is that he didn't protect his 4th base. As a Zerg, it's so key to secure your fort base. You know, get a spine, get a spore there, or at least have an overseer. Make sure you don't lose it. I feel the moment the Dark Templar sniped that fort base, things started to go Patience's way.
What do you think his coach is telling him?
Patience.
He's like, you're doing great.
He's like,
Keep going.
He's like, the Archons were nice, but I saw Drogo, that Frenchman, he had 18. Step up your game. Something like that. And Patience is like, oh,
What do you
okay,
think Penguin is telling True?
I have no idea about that one, Todd. I cannot tell you.
I mean, it really felt like True was being pushed out of his comfort zone, right? He had to keep on switching tech and stuff. He realized Banelings were just not going to work, and then he was trying to transition into Lurkers, which, if he had been allowed to do, maybe he could have recovered in this game. But Patience is way too aggressive to let you get away with this kind of mistake. I was talking about this before. He's so decisive. He loves to attack all the time. He's definitely not one of those passive players.
And that was very important in the game, because once again, with Mutalisk as a Zerg player, you want to have these Mutas on the other side of the map. You want to see them bounce between mineral lines. You want to see them pick off workers left and right, force out an overreaction, force out defensive cannons. The last thing you want to do with your Mutas is being on your side of the map and trying to pick off an Adept here and there, while these Adepts are still taking drones with them to the grave. So just didn't work out for True. He's going to have to switch things up. The second map is going to be played on Galactic Process. Not a bad Zerg map, Johan.
Yeah, it's all right. Especially like we've seen some cheeky builds being thrown in there that involve taking down the rocks and coming in from multiple sides. So gonna be interesting to see what True throws in. On this one, he's already shown one of those builds earlier. If he goes for the same thing, it will definitely be very predictable. Keep in mind, this is a very important match here. Whoever loses is out of the tournament. They pocket $10,000, but I'm pretty sure they'd love to earn themselves a little bit more.
Yeah, especially this man had such a hard journey even getting there. Basically only had one shot, and that was the WCS Season 3 Championships in Montreal.
Yeah.
And he did pass that test with flying colors, won the entire tournament, and his first shot made it to the WCS Global Playoffs.
It's already pretty crazy, but imagine if he won BlizzCon. That's as close to the American dream as it gets, Roddy.
Like you said, Todd. Then suddenly we have 2 Lambos over there in the Storm Gaming house. But I do like that you brought it up. He already revealed one of his builds on Galactic, and I must say I think that is a very good build. You know, where you take the gold, you make nothing but links of 24 to 26 drones. You take down the northern rocks, and the reason why you take down those rocks on the top side of the map is because most rocks, you're able to attack them with 8, 9, 10 links at best. But the rocks on the top and bottom side of the map near the potential third base, you can attack it with like 16 or even more Zerglings at once. So obviously it's a lot easier to take it down, and a single Adept will not push the Zerglings away.
All right, here we go. We're on Galactic Process in this map number 2. He's down one map, he needs to bring it back, playing as the Red Zerg. It's of course True, playing for Team Psystorm. Looked fantastic in Montreal, and so far struggled a lot here in the Global Finals.
And over here on the right top side of the map, we're looking at one of the most underrated Protoss players in the world. He wants to change it here at the Global Playoffs. It is Patience.
He kind of reminds me of Classic in a way. Everybody always counted Classic out way too much, unless, you know, like those... I guess the GSL casters didn't, because they saw him play all the time very closely and they knew how good he was, but he was not as much a fan favorite, you know, as guys like MMA, Polt and stuff, so people counted him out often, but he always delivered or went very far in those tournaments, including BlizzCon, so Patience kinda is like that.
Tournament live on the line, but True will once again take the gold as his first base. Patience opening up with a double gate on the low ground. I kind of like this, perhaps anticipating this potential gold base move from True, because obviously if you take this base, your drones are going to be quite exposed. Zergling speed will always kick in late, and if Patience opens up with 2 to 4 Adepts over here, there's a very good chance he will be able to find a couple of drones, and if you want to go for any sort of build like this, you won't have that many drones to spare. So I like this opening a lot actually by Patience.
Right now it really seems like Patience is counting on True to have taken that gold base, and he's going to want to be aggressive towards it. Perhaps a couple Adepts. This kind of build can backfire very quick, but he can also do crippling damage, which if Patience is able to achieve that, we've seen how good he is at closing games. He will just keep on attacking and finish you off pretty easily.
Yeah, it's important for True that he sniffs it out as quick as possible, because Overlords are slow on this. I mean, they're slow on every map, but it takes quite a while before they make it to the other side of the map on Galactic. Right now, he may still be expecting a single gate into an expand or even a Nexus first. His Overlords will eventually see it. For now, it's just Queens and drones, though. It's incredibly important that True will make links in time.
And we've seen True get a lot of Queens as well in the past. If he was able to get a couple of them, maybe even just like 2 on the golds. As this hits, eventually he might be able to defend better, but not, right now I just don't know if he's ready. Speed just started, but it's going to take a while for it to complete. He's getting 12 Zerglings, but a lot of those are going to hatch from the main base.
Yep, Patience is going to make this as difficult for True as possible to defend as well. Here come the first 2 adepts. Is he going to let it finish up or not? He sees the 4 Zerglings. He will let it finish up. Once again, Lynx without speed are going to have a very, very tough time dealing with these adepts. Good job there by True though. These adepts actually taking a lot of damage and they may not fall, but at least he keeps his drone safe, and that's the most important thing here for True. No, Patience making a misclick, losing an adept. Wow. Big mistake, Todd, especially early on. It's so key to keep these adepts alive, because the next wave would be even more difficult to deal with if those were 4 adepts.
And you know, earlier a couple of people were talking about Patience's micro and stuff, and I really felt like they were not being very kind to him, but it proves to be true here once again. He definitely sometimes doesn't have as good micro as some of these top Protosses, and that's one of his weaknesses. And sadly for him here, that's going to mean losing a very important adept, which he definitely could have needed if he does a follow-up push with more adepts.
Yeah, SimCity is important here for Patience. Has a lot of holes in his wall, but the Mothership Core pops at the right time. What is going to be the follow-up for True? For now, he's already making more drones than he did when he played against Zest. So that kind of gives us an indication that he may want to transition out of this. I do like the very fast Darkstrike. We see True working on these rocks.
It's funny because he looks like a pylon as well, even though it's much more deadly.
It's
Overcharge or not.
I mean, it's hard. It's very important for True, obviously, that he sniffs this out, that he has a couple of Lings running around, that he potentially sees it, because most of these Zerg builds, especially when they take the gold early on, they delay layer tag by quite a bit. And if there's no mobile detection, obviously True can never do something aggressively unless he just makes a ridiculous amount of Banes and blows up the Dark Templars and the probes at the same time. He doesn't know yet, Todd, and the Dark Shrine is already halfway done, still no layer on the way.
Yeah, this could be a disaster here if DT's got in there. True might go out of the tournaments. Yeah, and Lair only starts now.
He spots it.
I mean, by the way, maybe he noticed, like he could have noticed that the Twilight wasn't upgrading anything for a long time, because this is spottable. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see it, and he's now going to start working on these rocks as well.
Yeah, I think it was still in time for True. I mean, he shouldn't really take that much damage of it. He could also get a Spore, and he's getting a Spore, I believe, at his gold. And what I love a lot is he's opening up all these attack paths for a later stage into the game. It could be hard for Patience to eventually keep this base safe. I don't think Patience has any idea that he's also working on the rocks towards the left side of his potential third base. No, he hasn't seen it at all. I like this actually a lot by True. He's not going to take too much damage of the Dark Templars. Of course, the DTs can be used as an Archon drop as well. We've seen that multiple times. True should be able to see that Prism. If
which is very important. You can immediately start preparing, and even with its timing now, like this kind of smells like DT in a way. Like you should know by now that DTs are a possibility. Gets a cancel on that third base here, very nice.
Wow, that's a massive cancel. I mean,
look,
look
can come in from multiple sides actually.
Jon, it's 5 minutes, 40 seconds into the game. There is still no third base. Photon Overcharge activated, trying to keep these sentries safe. Patience will be able to save all the sentries, but this is not good. It's 6 minutes and the third base is not even nowhere near done. Actually, all these Protoss units are incredibly exposed. They will get picked off. Man, True is looking like a different beast over here. Playing very solid so far this game.
Mothership Core was defending in a natural, so Overcharge is used late on that third base, and I think that's going to be a cancel. Roddy, Patience probably going to want to focus on the DTs across the map here, that he needs to do some economic damage.
He's just not paying attention at all. I mean, I'm not sure why he didn't use defensive Dark Templars there. Didn't have anything. He still has this Prism here, but I mean, there is no fourth base to cancel. I'm not sure what he was looking at, but canceling a fourth base
everything
is awesome.
is gone, he's got 3 DTs at home.
Yeah. And he's still not expanding. It's 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Now the sentries are exposed as well. Photon Overcharge helping out from the high ground, but 2 sentries will still fall.
And they kill one of the DTs.
Disaster.
When you've got sentries and DTs losing to Pure Lings and one single Overseer that's there, you know you done goofed.
Yep. I mean, Patience is opening, just not working out for him, and not protecting those rocks makes your life so much harder as a Protoss player. I mean, once Zerg has all these different attack paths, it becomes incredibly difficult for a Protoss player to figure out where the Lings and potential Banelings are coming from.
Patience might just go all in here because of everything that happens. I feel like you don't even have to push him that far for him to go for an attack anyway. So now that he's really been under a lot of pressure, has been forced to cancel his base multiple times, he might just say, all right, let's just try for a timing, warp in Archons and charge loss, and then just go for it.
He's gonna say best defense is offense while he's still warping in Archons on the other side of the map. But does he have enough to keep this base alive? It's 7 minutes 30 seconds. It's extremely important for Patience that this Nexus stays alive. There's only one Immortal protecting the gates now. One Photon Overcharge is available, but there are a couple of Banelings in the mix as well.
And he's gonna warp in some units here behind, but Banelings start making their way inside of this wall here. The Immortal taking so much damage. There's one more overcharge here that's being used, but those links have already done so much damage, and I think Patience is counter-attacking with a bunch of Archons, but it's only 2 Archons.
Another cancel. Patience still stuck on 2 bases. Archon does survive while being incredibly low in HP, and the Archon drop should be able to do decent. I mean, we know how incredibly good Archons are against links, but Patience needs to expand, and he just cannot secure an additional base.
Yeah, some might say he's running out of time here in this game. With that 3rd base, he definitely needs to put more emphasis towards it, but True is not gonna slow down anytime soon. The Walker count's even, so True is he's kinda all in, it feels, with this. And by that I mean he doesn't have a great economy. He's committing a lot to these attacks, so he needs to be doing a lot of damage with them, especially like the gold base is gonna run out of minerals very fast.
Yeah, it's another cancel. There's nothing here to protect his Nexus. I believe that's the 5th cancel on this 3rd base. It's incredibly important for Patience, for his dreams to win this game, and at least not be you know, down 1-1, being 1 map away from being eliminated, is that the Archon drop on the other side of the map does some damage. A lot of Banelings being used here, and they will connect with all the workers.
And he's gonna get so many of them. That's 14 that die pretty much instantly. That's gonna kill the economy of Patience, cut it down in half. And even though the Archon is doing a good job of trying to hold that ground here on the ramp, he's just running out of units here.
And the door is wide open for those links to run potentially into the main base. That ain't happening. The Archons and Zealots are ravaging the gold base though. Army supply. Patience has actually taken the lead for the first time. It is a 2-base Protostar at the 9-minute mark, but it's nothing but Zerglings. This is an incredibly important fight for True. Does he have enough? Yes, he does. Because he's forcing the Archons to lift up, but a little bit of Warp Prism Micro can do wonders.
Oh, this Warp Prism is just never gonna get shut down. It needs Queens here. True, one of his favorite units. It needs it to come in there and snipe this Warp Prism once and for all, because this counter-aggression is just doing so much every single time. Warping in some Adepts now this time around.
Yeah, I like this a lot that he's getting another Archon. The Archons are obviously doing amazing, and I'm not sure if there's an answer to these 4 Archons. True has nothing but Links and Banes. One Archon will finally get picked off. The other one is quite low on HP as well, but good Prism save. Again, move command there for a split second. Can the Lings and Banes take care of 3 Archons? For now, I don't think so.
Yeah, Patience, he's not remaking any probes behind this, by the way. He's just making units right now, getting another Immortal, warping in some Adepts. He's counting on his splits and on those shields to regenerate.
Oh my god, all the Archons are so incredibly low. Look at this, 3 of them are like 10-15 points away from dying. But for now, Patience is keeping them alive. They look healthy because of the green bar, but they are all incredibly low in HP. But for now, this doesn't seem to be an answer to take them down.
And if those shields regenerate here, that's gonna be so crazy. They're gonna be back to full hit points. Pretty much he picks up another one just before he dies, gets another Queen. Patience, the micro beast here. With this micro, he wanted to prove a point, I think.
There's almost nothing at home, so True is going to try to counterattack one more time, but this is pretty much all he has. Will unpower that gateway, and there will not be any more Photon Overcharge, so more links will die. This has just became the most scrappy, low-eco game that we've seen today. If True can take out the Archons on the other side of the map, well, those were slow warp. No, actually, they were not slow warp.
I think it was, no?
Yeah, it looked like it, but it was too close to the Nexus, I think, to be a slow warp in. Or maybe it wasn't. Either way, more probes getting picked up. I mean, Patience has no economy, but he's got 4 Archons stuff. 4 Archons and a Prism and a Dream.
A chip and a chair, that's all he needs. Gonna get right in there with his Archons, and there is just not much here to defend. Again, it's just one single Queen. Those Links, they die pretty much instantly. Even though those Archons, they lost a lot of hit points already. Drones are the absolute worst unit probably to try and counter them, so Patience might just take this somehow, some way. He fell behind, but his Archons just won't die.
The Prism drop on the other side of the map, especially when he warped in a couple of Zealots and he started ravaging the drone line, it seemed that it was enough. I mean, True never getting a Roach Warren. He didn't have that many Queens. It was nothing but Lings and Banes, and they can take care of Archons, but when there is a Prism in the works as well, it becomes a lot more difficult, and I gotta say, sick micro by Patience. Keeping those Archons alive is truly what saved this dream. And look at this juicy Overlord farm thought.
God. True is down to 20 supply now. I think it must be starting to think in here for him that he might be going out of the tournament. And in a game like this, it's going to be a very hard bitter pill to swallow here, definitely, with the way this has gone. I really think he was in a good position. All he had to do was defend across the map. Maybe he underestimated his Archons, fought a little bit too early. And because of that now, he's facing elimination. and he just has links to face this many Archons.
It's one drone. That is the only drone that's currently on the map for True. The only drone that keeps True's WCS Global Play of Dreams alive for now. But these 4 Archons, they ain't gonna die. One of them will get trapped, but he's gonna pick it up again. Patience displaying some more micro over here in perhaps the final moments of day 1. GG. Patience takes the series 2-0 and stays alive.
Some great macro here from him with his Archons. Obviously it helped that he didn't have to macro at the same time because he didn't have really any economy and he was warping in across the map anyway. But True, he's gonna be really sad I think about this one because he had put in some real good work after he blew up the first set of probes with a lot of Banelinks. From there you know that your opponent's economy is pretty much destroyed and they're gonna have to go all in. All you have to do is defend, which a lot of the time is really doable and easy, but this time around just wasn't quite able to do it.
It's a cliche, best defense is offense, but that Warp Prism absolutely was worth its weight in gold. The Archons and Zealots did so much and secured Patience the victory 2-0. We're gonna head over to a very small break, and after that we'll be back with Smix and Patience.
Welcome to BlizzCon!
This is one of the coolest things you're ever going to see in your life.
For Azeroth! We invented some brand new characters.
When we first did BlizzCon back in 2005, we had no idea what to expect.
Are we ready to begin the costume contest?
It's so much more than a game in a box. Have a great BlizzCon!
Heroes of the Storm. Play free and experience the new StarCraft-themed Battlegrounds. Rated T for Teen.
And in the elimination match in Group B, it is Patience that comes out on top and will hold on to his tournament lifeline. So first of all, congratulations, Patience. It's amazing seeing you again because it has been a while since I believe we've spoken to you out in the foreign scene. As I know that at one point we were seeing you quite often abroad, but it has been a while since you were in Korea. So first of all, just let's talk about this series overall. I know that earlier in the day you were up against Neeb and you actually lost. So as someone who's made it to the top 4 in SSL twice this year, were you taken aback by that? 예, 했어요? 그 이번 년에 엄청 그래도 잘 하셨잖아요. 결과적으로도 이제 SSL에서 4강 2분이 나가고, 근데 이제 첫 상대가 니브 선수였는데 졌어요. 그래가지고 혹시 그것 때문에 당황이나 조금 했는지?
일단은 제가 그 닙 선수가 잘하는 걸 알고 있어서 조금 긴장을 많이 한 것 같아요. 손이 너무 안 움직여서 제가 유리한 경기도 역전 당하고 했는데 그래 다음에 최종전에서 만나면 제가 복수해야 될 것 같아요.
So he says, I actually knew that Neeblit was a really good player headed into the match, and I think because of that, I was quite nervous. I felt like my hands weren't playing the way that I wanted them to, and even in a match where I felt like I did have the advantage, I actually let it go over to him, and he took the win. So I feel like if I do face him in the decider match, then I will be able to get revenge there. So speaking to that, then are you already assuming that it'll be Neeb that you're facing and Zest will beat Neeb? 이제 방금 최종전에서 니 선수를 다시 만나면 복수할 수 있을 거라고 했는데 그러면 주성호 선수가 당연히 이길 거라고 생각하세요?
일단은 닙 선수가 잘하는 선수이긴 한데 오늘 경기하는 거 보니까 주성욱 선수가 잘하더라고요. 그래서 주성욱 선수가 이길 것 같아서 최종전에서 닙 선수랑 해서 복수해야 될 것 같아요.
So he says, just to clarify, I definitely still think Neeb is a great player, but I was watching Zest play today, and I just felt that he was a stronger stronger player, at least today. So therefore, I feel like I will be playing Niblet in the decider match, and I will be able to get revenge there. Now let's speak about this match here. I especially want to talk about Galactic Process, as it came down to just 3 Archons that had a huge burden on their shoulders. So I'm wondering, during that series, was there a point where you were worried at all, or were you just confident in your play? 이제 그 두 번째 경기에서 Galactic Process에서 이제 아콘 3개가 엄청 큰 역할을 했는데 그 경기에 대해서 좀 얘기해 주세요.
일단은 그 경기에서 제가 사독 컨트롤 실수가 나와서 조금 당황을 해가지고 빌드 아다리가 제대로 안 맞아서 그래서 좀 게임이 안 좋게 흘러갔는데, 그래서 마지막 공격은 그냥 진 줄 알고 진 것 같아서 그냥 마지막 공격 갔는데 아칸이 세더라고요. 그래서 이긴 것 같아요.
So he says, from the beginning, I just wasn't happy with my Adept micro. That really kind of took me back. It really just threw me off. And then from then on, I feel like just my build order was messed up. And so actually, I just went across the map with my Archons thinking, okay, I probably lost. This is a last-ditch effort. Let's see what I can do. And I guess Archons are just pretty strong, as that was enough for me to win and make it a 2-0. And last but not least, I know that you have something to say and people to thank, so I'll give you that chance, Patience.
그 한국말로 해도 돼. 일단은 그 스폰해 주시는 아프리카 팀에 감사하고, 그 항상 응원해 주시는 팬분들 감사하고, 다음 최종전은 더 좋은 경기력 보여드리겠습니다.
So he says, I want to take this time to, first of all, thank my team, Africa. I also want to thank all the fans that are cheering and watching. And also, I hope to show you guys an even better performance in that decider match for Group B. So congratulations again, Patience. And with that, he will be moving on for a chance to move on to the quarterfinals. And unfortunately, we do have another player that is eliminated.
Thank you very much, Smix, and awesome interview again. We'll be seeing more of her tomorrow. For now, Patience survives to fight another day here in the WCS Global Finals. A sad exit here for the WCS Circuit Summer Champion True, who is eliminated next to Snoot. Were we looking at these two players as the players to be eliminated today?
No, I mean, I do feel like True was quite the underdog. I think one of the kind of criticisms that we were kind of leveling out there was that he could end up being very predictable. The Ling, the Queen stuff, we've seen it all before. It has worked in the past, but the more time you go forward and the more you're able to be like, I think he's going to do that, the less it works. Snoot is a bit of a surprise. I mean, I think it is a bit of a stretch to say he's like the favorite to make it top 2 in this group, because it's such a tough group. But for him to be the first eliminated, I do think that is shocking. I think that surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Snoot going out, of course, he's always been one of the best foreigners for the past 3 years, so it is a little bit surprising. But Petit Drogo has really fantastic PVZ, and you know, Snoot kind of got into the anti-zone or something there, I think, in game 2. So not exactly expected, but with you know, True falling out, that's a very tough group.
What do you think of the series with True and Patience then? I mean, we have a couple of highlights now here in front of us. Patience winning the first map.
Well, I think I mean, the second map is really the crazy game with the Archons, and like he had no economy. I think True was playing that very well for a while, and then Archon juggling is pretty good. Prism range, pretty nice.
Yeah, that was the crazy part. I mean, he did most of the fight with like, I mean, we'll see it develop here, but like less than 20 probes versus 40 drones, but the Zerg literally only had Queens, Lings, and Banelings at his disposal. And with good micro and those Archons, that is the counter. That actually is the counter. And even at the end of the fight, Lings had cracked the natural. There was nothing at the natural. Most of the gateways were unpowered, and there was 9 probes at home, but it still wasn't enough because 4 Archons could just win the game.
Yeah, really great awareness on which of the Archons pulled back. I mean, they have a lot of shields, but he like perfectly juggled these things to the point where you have all these Archons that have probably less than 50 shields each, and you're still able to get all of them forward, kill absolutely everything. And like you said, it is the counter with the pickup range. It's one of those things that, you know, if you do micro this perfectly, you should not be able to lose, and that's pretty much Patience showed, just a superior player when it came down to that micro situation that was very awkwardly reached.
Very awkwardly.
Very awkwardly.
I do want to say
that was very awkwardly said.
Nathanius and I were able to commentate the match earlier with Snoot, and we were belaboring it quite a bit that it was very strange to see Snoot in that phase. But kind of the nice thing with a BlizzCon like this, all eyes are on it. And in one of the live report threads, Scarlett was commentating, and she did offer her opinion, which, you know, expert level opinion there. and that is that Snoop probably got a little bit tunnel vision and was doing a build that was meant to prevent a fourth, and then when that obviously went away, stayed the course and just tried to go for that. So I kind of want to put that out there because it is a very complex game. It is very difficult, and it's not fair to say Snoot's having some like emotional meltdown. I don't think that's what happened. I think he went with an idea, and he's like, nope, I'm either going to win or lose off of this, and that is a decision you have to make in StarCraft, for sure.
Yeah.
Any specific highlights, anything else you want to bring up for today's matches, as we have now concluded day one of the finals?
It's well, the impression of Zerglings, Banelings versus Archons is going to be like that's imprinted in my mind now.
I'm pretty good on it. I think we.
But yeah, I mean,
let's not see too much more.
Outside of I'm good on that.
So Terrans is what we need from tomorrow's matches.
I'm very excited to get to actually talk about something that I could actually qualify myself as an expert on. But as far as things that I've enjoyed today, obviously I'm the biggest Neeb fanboy there is, so it's very awesome to see him go through. I thought those PvPs were actually really solid. The micro battles between the Blinkstalkers and the Disruptors is something that I enjoyed because I don't really have to play it. I know that's very frustrating. So all in all, I'm happy. I'm satisfied with today.
Closing thoughts here, gents?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great day with quite a few close matches. Really enjoyed both the elimination matches. I think our best 2 games of the day were definitely Game 2 in both the elimination series with the crazy Archon versus Baneling stuff. Really fun. And, obviously tomorrow we get both the Terran players and some much different matches, like a lot of ZVZs and ZVTs and whatnot, so that'll be great. But I'm really looking forward to the Stats Neeb rematch as well, because Neeb he played so well. Well, I guess we don't know if that'll be that. He could beat Zest as well. But anyways, that whole set of PvPs, I think I'm very excited about to see. Can Neeb just crush out of this group and be like, no, I'm just one of the best players in the whole world.
And for me, yeah, kind of touching on that, it's the storylines moving forward. Like, this format's really cool because we don't have a definitive answer. We saw the guys eliminated, so we can kind of wrap our heads around that. True going out early like that, disappointing. I think the same could be said for Snoot. Snoot, we had high expectations for it, did not deliver, and that's the expectations he sets as well. But I am on the same train as you guys. Like, is Neeb the real deal? If he beats Zest and just 2-0s out of this group, I would argue he's way up there. And then kind of seeing where these other guys do shape up though, like Stats looked really solid. Can he continue? Just I want to see how this shapes up. It's a nice first day. It's not definitive, and we don't round off too many storylines here.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We've had an exciting day here in the studios in Burbank of California. We're preparing ourselves to go into tomorrow, where we'll be continuing with Group C and Group D. Do remember to join us on social media one last time here today. You can always follow @StarCraft for all the latest StarCraft updates around the game and around this tournament, and use the hashtag WCS2016. We're done for today. We'll see you tomorrow with a couple of Terrans.